Okay, so this is the system I eventually ended up with. This is actually closest to my original system, be it with slight upgrades to the tape deck and the receiver. So the receiver is the SX777. I got a couple of spare ones. And the tape deck is the CTS410. I got a double deck spare one. Then the GR555 as an equalizer. I got another one of these actually in the game room, hooked up to a Pioneer audio-video receiver. And the old-fashioned PD4300. That's actually my my old CD player, and that turned out to be the most reliable with all sorts of discs and stuff. It has a bit of a noisy, clunky CD mechanism, but yeah, and I use some Sennheiser small earphones for that. So yeah, this basically is the system that I'm going to be using. The other stuff is spares, or I can exchange them and stuff. And the tape deck has some fancy tape equalizing stuff. And yeah, it looks good. So this tape deck, the S410, has an auto BLE option, bias, level, and equalizing. So before recording, you just press this one, then the unit will start to record the bias, and it does some fancy stuff, the recording level and the equalization, and then it's tuned, and then you press record, and then you can press the CD player, and then you can adjust the level. Seems to be okay. The next one. Okay, perhaps. Okay, so let's press play to start the recording. So this is MP3s downloaded from Epidemic Sound. It's a very high dynamic song. I'm very curious how this eventually will play back. We'll see. Now, this is perhaps a bit tacky, all these graphics, but back then it was really fancy. A lot of later decks have this BLE function. So it detects the tape type, but then it calibrates the deck to even better suited recording settings for the tape. Now this tape I've been using again and again to record over. It's a bit weird sounding, a track. I may actually record a bit of that other track as well. So face to face, these displays look a lot clearer. For some reason my phone really makes them wash out a bit. I like the look of this. The double deck was a bit too modern. I mean, it fitted with that, but it didn't fit with the rest. And this tape deck, these italic letters, they're very similar. The buttons. And this tape deck has a bit of a crossover because that little counter is similar to the golden buttons found here. So yeah, it's a bit of older, newer. Yeah, that's a bit of the same era, late 80s, early 90s. And the cool part is that the frequency dynamics is pretty good in this song. Perhaps it's even a bit too strong. Then it, we'll see, because if you record at too high level, the sound will end up being distorted. So there's a bit of a trick to recording to tape. Now a lot of these modern tape units, they basically have one level of recording, and often it's distorts. So yeah, nothing beats these older tape decks. Really, you can't have modern tape decks with the same features. So after this this song has played, we are going to be checking out how it plays. This remote, it's targeted at the dual tapes that I have, but it also works with the one tape. So I can control everything except the equalizer with this control unit. So that's actually very nice. So I'm not using the highest end CD player I have. I'm not using the highest end tape deck I have, and I'm certainly not using the highest end receiver I have, but yeah. So I guess the level I now did a bit lower than before actually is a bit better than it all going to the end. Okay. Stop the recording. Move over to tape. Rewind. Now the belts on this unit are refurbished. They're very good. And let's see how playback is. Okay, counter. And I'll set it to time. Play. So the tape deck actually does up to 20 kilohertz. It's a bit of a weird sounding song.
Gazing at the night sky, and even though it's the same, it feels like I can feel right. I want you back now. Yeah, and it's moving closer. I can feel it coming. Oh, now it's my time now. 'Cause it's
The cool thing about this tape counter is that it actually does minutes as well as just regular units. I think this is a great recording. Especially the higher frequency range, that's actually quite good for tape. And this tape I actually used to record over, because I did the classical music. I recorded a ton over this tape already. Now the other track. So the bass is pretty solid. We can do the so no distortion, luckily. So this stuff will remain visible as long as this tape is in the deck. It'll reset to a different setting, a regular setting, if you take out the tape. Now, this tape deck is no auto reverse, but I don't mind turning over the tape and stuff.
Now Tell me you love me. Don't let go. Tell me a secret. Let me know. We got out on the solid lights. It's not getting me far. In a second, this could be over. But for now, you're the fool.
Well, it's not bad, is it? Not bad at all.